I never believed in ghosts, even though I taught at St. Mary's Covenant School, right next to an old graveyard. Local lore said the nuns roamed in the grounds after sunset. Supposedly, these spirits belonged to sisters who had tragically perished in a fire decades ago. They said if you stayed late, you'd hear the prayers mixed with cries for help. Despite the chilling tales, I never experienced anything myself, until that fateful day. It was a Friday afternoon when the principal announced a lockdown. Apparently, a mass murderer had escaped from a nearby psychiatric facility and was reportedly on the loose. The authorities advised everyone to stay inside, and so we were trapped in the school until further notice. The school usually emptied out before sunset, but that day I found myself in the eeriest of predicaments, locked in with a handful of students in a graveyard just outside our windows. The sky darkened rapidly, and the hallways felt increasingly oppressive. The students, ranging from nervous to outright terrified, huddled in the assembly hall. I tried to keep them calm, but I could feel the chill. The principal asked few teachers to take a round and find if any kids were still left in their classrooms. I volunteered and grabbed a flashlight from the supply closet. The power was still on, but the long corridors seemed unnaturally dark. My footsteps echoed as I made my way through the silent halls. Classroom by classroom, I checked. Empty desks, silent chalkboards, nothing unusual, until I reached room 212. The door creaked open, and I was hit by a sudden, inexplicable cold. My breath fogged in front of me. The room was dark, save for the thin beam of my flashlight. As I scanned the room, the beam caught something reflective on the floor. I moved closer and gasped. It was a tiny silver cross necklace lying in a pool of dark liquid. Blood. My heart pounded. I turned to leave, but the door slammed shut. The temperature plummeted, and I heard a faint whispering, words I couldn't understand. I yanked at the door, but it wouldn't budge. Panic surged through me.
Help! Someone, please!
No response. Everyone was away. The whispers grew louder, now mixed with the soft sound of footsteps. I spun around. In the dim light, I saw them. Shadows moving across the walls. 3 figures in nuns' attires. Their faces dark like rotten skin, gliding towards me. Their whispers grew stronger and distorted. I backed against the door, desperately pulling at the handle. The figures grew closer, their prayers louder. One reached out to me, and I suddenly felt an icy grip around my wrist. I screamed and yanked my arm free, but the force sent me falling to the ground. My head struck the edge of a desk, and pain exploded through my skull. Darkness edged my vision, but I fought to stay conscious. The whispers grew deafening, and the figure stood over me. One of them bent down, and it looked into my eyes, letting out its disoriented whisper. It raised its dark, rotten hand towards me, but suddenly stopped as it spotted the cross around my neck. That was the window I needed. With a burst of adrenaline, I crawled towards the door. My hand found the handle again, and this time it turned. I ran into the hallway, slamming the door behind me. The whispers ceased, but the cold lingered. I stumbled back to the assembly hall, clutching my bleeding head. Miss Jenkins, who taught languages, looked up, her eyes wide with fear.
Caroline, what happened? We need to get out, now!
That is when the lights in the hall started flickering. The wind, which was blowing, suddenly ceased. And then, suddenly, the children at the back started screaming. Everyone saw a dark figure in nun's clothes, standing there for just a few seconds, before it suddenly glided to the other side and disappeared towards the back door. There was chaos everywhere. We gathered the children and huddled together, moving as one toward the main entrance. The lockdown was still in effect, but staying inside felt more dangerous. As we reached the main door, we found a police car outside, and a policeman walked up to us. "Everyone stay calm, we're here to evacuate you." They informed us that the escaped murderer had been caught very close to the school, but everyone was safe. Relief washed over us. We filed out, the cold night air biting but welcome. I glanced back at the school, its dark windows like eyes watching us leave. The local lores no longer seemed like mere stories. I left St. Mary's Convent School shortly after that night.